Bonjour et bienvenue to the beautiful French city of Clermont-Ferrand. This is where our story begins. With a population of around 150,000, that's basically Norwich, if you need an English reference point, Clermont sits nestled beneath a chain of dormant volcanoes and is surrounded by idyllic French countryside. Although probably more well known for its two imposing cathedrals, its short film festival and its top-flight rugby side Clermont-Auvergne, it's also home to a little Ligue 2 side called Clermont Foot. Perhaps their biggest claim to fame, if you can call it that, is that they were the first professional side in Europe to appoint a female manager. And also the second to do so as well. First came the Portuguese coach Helena Costa, but after just 49 days in the job, Costa quit, citing disagreements with and disrespect from the male staff at the club. She left convinced she was just a face to attract publicity. What had looked to be a massive step in the right direction for women coaches in the men's game seemed to have taken a turn for the worse. You could say that Costa's claim that Clermont's signing of a female manager was just a publicity stunt was reinforced when Clermont announced that her successor would be ex-French international defender Corinne Diacre. Diacre, however, came into the job and quickly proved that she had the experience and talent to be far more than a marketing ploy. Since taking over in 2014, she secured a relegation battle in Clermont's side before taking them to their highest Ligue 2 finish since 2011 as they challenged for promotion. She also won the Ligue 2 Manager of the Year award in 2015 and was also nominated the next year as well. It quickly became clear that Diacre was now managing at Clermont on nothing more than her own merit. Perhaps her biggest achievement, though, in her already 10-year managerial career, is she is now the new manager for Series 4 of Master League Story Mode. Très bon, Corinne, très bon. And she will be managing at Clermont. Now, before we go any further, I would like to say that the main reason for selecting Corinne as the manager for this series is as a tribute to two of the most important women in my life, who behind the scenes of PES Story Mode have been absolutely vital. This series is dedicated to both my wife and my 5-month-old daughter, Rosie. Corinne Diacre is a shining example of a woman thriving in what has been considered a man's world, a man's job, and doing it with a strength, determination and ability that should be applauded and replicated. I hate to think that there's any profession, hobby or whatever that my daughter couldn't grow up to do just because she is a woman. Corinne, welcome to Master League Story Mode. So hello and welcome to episode 1 of series 4 of Master League Story Mode. Obviously you now know who the manager is. It's Corinne Diacre, the first female manager in Master League Story Mode. And I couldn't be more pleased. I think this is going to be a really interesting one. I always wanted to start in Ligue 2. As you might have noticed, I'm having trouble with Ligue 2. It just doesn't sound right, doesn't it? Un, deux, trois, I can do that. My French accent is going to become a real issue, I feel, throughout this. Or a real talking point or a real source of entertainment. Who knows? So there's just one more thing I need to mention before we crack on with the Master League, which I'm really excited to do. This series is going to take a slightly different format to the first 3 series on this channel. Obviously, those of you who've been watching since the beginning will know that we've done Tim Sherwood at Blackburn, Sir Alex Ferguson at Hull, and most recently, we did Ian Holloway at Bristol City. Now, in all of those, obviously, the manager stayed at the club all the way throughout the whole series, throughout multiple seasons. This series, we're going to be taking a journeyman, or as you will have seen in the title, a journeywoman approach. So the idea is to get Corinne Diacre into a 5-star job. So we're going to have to climb our way up through the leagues. Obviously, we'll try and get Clermont into Liga and maybe winning that, I guess. But if we can move before then to a better job, a higher rated team, then we will look to do that. And we'll look to take with us some of the players that we've developed at the clubs beforehand. So we'll get into that when we get to transfers. And just quickly, one more thing before we get in. I just want to mention the PES Story Mode Patreon, where you can sign up to pledge a monthly amount to become either a co-author or a producer for PES Story Mode. The co-authors, it's just $1 or more a month, that's about 80p. And you get to vote on decisions every week on both series on this channel. So it could be which players we sign, which team we move to, which striker we play, what tactics we use. All of those things will be open to your opinions and your vote. So if you're interested in that, it's just $1 or more a month. If you want to become a producer, which is the next level up, that's $4 or more a month, and you get access to the official PES Story Mode Discord chat. There's also a few other exciting awards that the co-authors get. So go and check out the Patreon. There's a link in the description if you want to support this channel. And the aim basically is to try and get to a point where I can make daily videos. That's the thing. I can't afford to now. I've got a full-time job. But if I was able to build up a little bit of revenue through Patreon to allow me to take some days off work, then you could be watching Become a Legend Story Mode and Master League Story Mode videos every single day. That's the goal. Enough about that. Let's get into it. A new Master League. So, admin it is before we get in. This year we have the exciting addition of Challenge Mode in the club operations. It makes negotiations, contracts a little bit more difficult, and obviously you can lose your job, which is a little bit worrying, a bit scary for Corinne, I'm sure, but hopefully that won't be an issue. Now, I've been toying with which difficulty we should go for. Superstar is what we went for, what we always have gone for in Master League Story Mode. This year we've got the spanner in the works that is Legend, which I've tried, and oh my word, is it hard. Like, almost not even fun hard. I guess if things are going too easily, we might consider ramping it up, but for now, for this series, I think we're going to stick with Superstar, just for my own sanity. 10-minute match times. I guess, because we're starting in France, we should start with the Euro. Classic players off. Additional leagues, well, we've got the Bundesliga and the Liga MX. It does mean that you get the PES League in there with some of the fake players, but we just avoid them, generally. And that's it. Yes, come on. Steaming along. Now, as we know, we're playing with a French manager. This part of the manager creation, pretty smooth. The next bit is going to be a bit tricky. So the name, that's actually pretty straightforward. So bear with me and we'll see what she looks like. This could be insulting at best. So there she is. I'd like to personally apologise to Corinne if you are ever watching this for this face design. Although, to be fair, given what he was working with, Shales, my good friend Shales, who designed this for me, I think he did a pretty damn good job using what is only a male face design package to come up with something that isn't as insulting as you might have thought it might have been. Obviously, I'm going to be petitioning to have women as an option in the manager settings. So obviously, we're going to be starting with the club team. It's going to be Clermont. And there they are, 2-star rated. Not the best side in the world, but there are worse in Ligue 2. Absolutely. So here she is, swaggering in. It's a real shame. The suit, the physique, is the real issue here. I mean, and the face. The face isn't a million miles off. It's not great, but the huge man's body alongside it doesn't really work. So sorry about that, but obviously she's joining Clermont for... really, she's still there, sort of, in real life. We're playing a little around with the timeline. There is a new manager at Clermont now, but really we're just imagining that she stayed there and never took the France job. So here we go. This is the first bit of challenge, but the first sniff of challenge mode. And the owner, who looks to be a rather portly man, who may well be invisible. Looks like maybe he's the invisible man. And he thinks that we've outgrown this division, and by the end of the season I want to see us promoted. Wow, okay, that's a pretty big shout there, mate. Pretty big shout. But, I mean, what else would we be aiming for? I guess that's fine. So here we are, into the new back end of Master League for PES 2018. It's a bit different. Doesn't really bother me, any of these bells and whistles, though. It really comes down to the mechanics of the mode and the gameplay. That's all we care about. Let's go and learn a little bit about our side. So the first place to start is obviously the game plan. Now, one of the big features of Master League Story Mode is not only do we play as a real-life manager, but we really look to get inside their head and use the tactics that they like to use. So first of all, we'll look at how we're going to line up. Then we'll look at the players that we've got at our disposal now and see where we maybe need to strengthen in the transfer window. So I don't know a huge amount about Ligue 2 football, surprisingly. I'm not sure many people living in England do. But luckily I was able to find a great English-speaking football journalist called Brendan on Twitter, who is a French football expert and knows a lot about Ligue 2. And he helped me out with some information about Corinne Diacre and some of her managerial styles. So although the current manager is Pascal Gastien, it does appear that Diacre's formations and tactics are still being employed here, because this is pretty much the exact lineup and tactics that Brendan informed me that Diacre likes to go for. So in terms of how she plays, it's a counter-attacking style. That's what we're going to be looking for. Strong at the back, really solid. I was told, and I do believe that actually she prefers to play with 2 holding defensive midfielders in front of the back 4. So, you know, pretty damn strong in the midfield. And then 1 central midfielder who sort of links up play a little bit. And then you've got the 3 up front who really are pretty far removed from this. Apparently these 2 holding midfielders will barely ever venture over the halfway line, which I'm fine with. I think we need to keep it tight to make our way out of this league. It's going to be a tight and difficult league, I'm sure. And then the other big thing is that she loves a target man. Loves a big man up front. So it's going to be long balls up to the target man. And then the 2 wingers, they like to play as extra strikers, really. So they'll be looking to get in and around the big man. So it's a pretty conservative way of playing football. Keeping it solid at the back. Long counter-attacking balls. But I'm quite excited for this. It's definitely mixing it up compared to what we were going with last season with Ian Holloway. And it's not really something that we've tried to do before, working towards a big man in the middle. So, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. That's basically her tactics. That's what she goes for. So now we're going to have a look and see which are the best players that we've got for these positions. So, Ndai out right wing forward. Well, we do have Honorat on the bench, and he's definitely going to be one of our star players. He's only 21 years old. He's got some really nice looking stats. 79 finishing. It's pretty quick as well. 78 speed, 77 explosive power. This is a man who I think is going to be really good for us. Not a particularly good passer, which you would say maybe out on the right wing would be a disadvantage, but as we know, he's going to be looking to score goals as well. And I think he'll be a pretty decent backup at centre forward as well, because he can play there. He's 73 rated there. So I'm looking forward to playing with Honorat. I think that's a really nice little signing. He's been a France international from under 16 level all the way up to under 19, so he's obviously got some quality to him. He was at Nice, and he's recently signed for Clermont this season, so he's got a bit to prove, I feel, so I'm quite excited about him. At centre forward, it's Ajorque is the one who apparently has been playing in the league. As you can see, 197 centimetres. He is the target man that they've been playing with, but this season they have signed the really exciting looking Ferabori Dore. I'm sure I'm absolutely butchering that name. He's an experienced Congolese international. He's 28 years old, 193 centimetres. Again, that's the target man we're looking for. He's going to be the one we aim for. Good finisher, 73 finishing. It's actually pretty quick, 79 speed, and 85 explosive power. Shades of Tammy Abraham, for those of you who enjoyed the last episode. Although he's definitely not one for the future at 28 years old, but he'll be, I'm pretty sure he'll be good enough for us as a starting centre forward. So at left wing, it looks like Ndai, who we just took out, will come back in. He's our strongest left winger. Let's take a look at him. Pretty average. That's maybe somewhere we're going to look to improve. So into the midfield, central midfielder. This player needs to be someone who can link up play. He's going to have a lot to do in the centre there. He's going to have to be picking passes, but also driving play forward when necessary. And it looks like our strongest option for this will be Guerbert, I'm going to say. God, my French accent is going to be hilarious, I'm sure. He's pretty average as well. I think we're going to need a new central midfielder. We've got Doulin, who I've noticed, 72 rated defensive midfielder. He looks excellent. He can also play at the back. He's a big guy, physically strong, relatively quick, good ball winner. I think he's a certainty. And then who fills in the other defensive midfield role? Looks like it's going to be Lopi. And Lopi is fairly average as well. So already we're looking at a central midfielder, a defensive midfielder, and a left winger. Probably in that order of importance. Into the defence, right back, we've got Fojo. He looks pretty decent, 73 rated. Can play on either side. He's quick. How old is he? 24 years old, so he's probably not going to get much better, but he looks decent there. Centre-back, we do seem to be lacking a little bit. We've got Laporte, who I guess is first choice, alongside Fontaine. But other than that, we don't have anyone. Okay, so Doulin can play there. 68 rate. Yeah, we're definitely going to need a centre-back. That might well be our priority. At left-back, we've got Jalabi. He's 34 years old, so safe to say we're probably not going to get many seasons out of him. He might just about do, though, but I think a left-back is going to be necessary. And then finally at the back, we've got Bernhard Oni. He looks to be quality and a good keeper. Very important, I feel, this year. Let's take a look at him. He's only 20 years old. He's a big guy. He's going to be great. What a signing he must have been. He was also signed this season for Clermont. So, yeah, we've got a good solid keeper. Couple of really good strikers. We've got a good defensive mid, but we need, we definitely need centre-back, central midfield, defensive mid, left winger, and a left-back. It's a pretty long shopping list. So we're going to have to do some serious business. Let's take another quick look at the tactics. So as I said, I think these attacking tactics are pretty much spot on. We don't want people to be spread out too much, actually, so I think we might lower the support range. We need the wingers especially to be sniffing around our big target man, trying to get his headers, try and get his flick on. So maybe we'll just reduce that a bit. We can always play with that. Positioning, I think, maintain position. It's a counter-attack, long pass. I guess down the centre, but we can maybe play with that. Defensively, it's going to be all-out defence. Contain them. Yeah, that's fine. Fairly aggressive. I think aggressive pressuring is okay. We'll drop the defensive line a bit. And, I think that's probably okay. Advanced instructions. For attacking, I guess... Not attacking fullbacks. We need to keep it pretty solid at the back. Wing rotation is maybe an option. Now, there's not really anything in here that fits with her style, so I'm not going to actually put any advanced instructions in for attack. Let me know what you think about that, but I think it's pretty fair. At the back, I think we're going to make sure that we've got a counter target, which will be Dory up the front. So we know he's always going to be up there, ready to receive the balls out from the back when we've managed to win the ball back for the counter. And I think we'll also go for deep defensive line for now. We'll give that a go just to see. We're going to keep things tight. 2 defensive midfielders, deep defensive line. We're going to set up to frustrate teams. We're not going to be hit by balls over the top. And then when we get the ball back, hopefully we've got a good central midfielder or a good passing defensive midfielder who can find the front 3, and then they can do their business pretty much completely separated from the rest of the side. That sounds good to me. Yeah, okay. So there we go. Tactics done. So with tactics out of the way, we can get into the negotiations. So for those of you who are new to Master League Story Mode, you won't be aware, but we like to play with some fairly strict transfer rules just to make things interesting. Now, I think the challenge mode, which is making transfers a lot more difficult from what I've heard, are going to make some of these a little redundant, but here they are. So the first one is the 6 degrees of Sherwood rule. Basically, that means that we can't just go and sign anyone from any side using the advanced search. We can only sign players from teams that Corinne Diacre has a link with. Now, that's a little bit tricky. But I always put this out to you, the commenters, to let me know if you can find any links. So, some examples in the past. Tim Sherwood played with Gareth Southgate in the England setup. Gareth Southgate was at that time the England under-21 manager. That allows us to negotiate with any player playing in the England under-21 side. Pretty simple. Or, for example, Alex Ferguson in Series 2. We were able to deal with any Stoke player we wanted because Mark Hughes has obviously played under Alex Ferguson. So that was an easy connection there. It's basically the way of thinking of the 6 degrees of Sherwood rule is who could Corinne give a ring to find a connection to a club, to get that foot in the door and do some transfer business. So have a look through Wikipedia, see if you can find any for me. It's not as easy with her as she hasn't really played for many clubs, but you can be looking at things like maybe other people who work at the club. You just use your imagination and we'll decide on a case-by-case basis whether the link is too tenuous. It's difficult this year, I'll admit that. So the second rule in here is a bit of a new addition, or not really a new addition, but we're adding it in just to make sure everyone's aware. It's the Ferguson Principle. Now, the Ferguson Principle is an extension of the 6 degrees of Sherwood rule. If you've played or managed for any international side, then you can deal with any player from that nationality. So Alex Ferguson obviously managed Scotland briefly, and Corinne Diacre, well, she was a French international, which allows us the whole of the French nation to deal with. That's a big one. That's really, really going to help us. So I'm quite excited to have a little root through some of the French players in the advanced search and see what we can come up with. Third rule is there's an overall rating limit each season. It used to be that we started at 70 and went up 2 each season. Now we're going to be basing that on the highest rated player in the squad. So we can deal with anyone who is rated 74 or below. And the last 4 are, well, we can only have 1 loan transfer per season, 1 free transfer per season, and sending out the scouts, which is quite important, being as we're not allowed to deal with just any player. We can only do that within 1 country in each season, so we can't be sending out scouts to 3 different countries each season. And each season, we're allowed to add a new scouting area. So we'll get that done first. We put the vote out to the co-authors on Patreon. As I mentioned earlier, you can become a co-author now for only $1 a month, and you could be voting on decisions like this. So in the end, we decided to go with South America. We decided to go for a whole continent, which I think should give us some really exciting talent to work with. So as we saw, we need a centre-back, so I'm going to send out the scouts for that. Difficult to know what to go for. We've only got 3.6 million euros transfer budget, so it's not going to be much. If we go for overall rating, I feel like they might be more expensive. We also want to start developing young players who are going to follow Corinne Diacre through her entire career. Hopefully we can bring them along for the ride. So we'll consider the budget there, and we'll see if we can find an exciting young South American centre-back. Although actually, we could maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone here and get a utility player who can play at left-back. Alright, we'll try that. So again, as I said, we only get to work in 1 area, so it's back to South America. This scout is going on a nice fun holiday from France to South America. So we are looking for a central midfielder, but I'm going to go for defensive midfielder. I love a South American defensive midfielder, aka Gilberto Silva. We want to find the young Gilberto Silva, don't we? So we'll consider the budget, look for a still developing defensive midfielder from South America. And then I think finally we are in need of a left wing forward. I think finally we are in need of a left winger and an exciting South American winger. Sounds pretty good to me. So yeah, we'll go for still developing again. We can make a loan bid, so we could maybe say reject the budget and then try and get whoever comes up on a loan. Yeah, we'll try that. So, interesting spread there. Not 100% sure how this is going to work out, but yeah, hopefully we can get a centre-back who can also play at left-back. Really solid, but good ball-playing South American defensive midfielder who can set up the long passes for the counter-attacks, and then a tricky South American winger who's maybe a little bit out of our budget we can get on a loan. Next thing to do is take a look at our players. What have we got here? So we'll take a look by overall rating. As far as I can see, I think we can pretty much go through and transfer list everyone below Ndiaye, I think. Everyone above that we almost certainly want to keep. But there's probably negotiations to be had with the rest of them. So I'm just going to fire through this. Yeah, I think that's probably it. We can afford to really sell any of those players. We need some good replacements for them. So there we have it. The last thing I'm going to do is start going through France and looking at some of the players we can sign. I'm going to add them to the list, and then we'll meet back up in a second. We'll go through some of the players that I have found that we can maybe put some bids in for, because there's going to be a lot of searching that I'm going to have to do now. This is probably going to be a good half-hour job, just going through, trying to find some targets for each of the positions that we need, and yeah, seeing what we can come up with. Got a lot to work with here. You can play along at home. Obviously, all you need to do is go in, choose the overall rating, 74 or below, make sure they're French, and then let me know which players you've found, which players you would suggest that we sign with a view to the positions that we're trying to improve. So I'll see you in a sec. So here we are. I've put together not a huge list of people, but we've got some good ones in here. As you can see, we've got a few in here with 5 chances of signing, and that is because, thankfully, now that we have the option of going into the advanced search and looking at all French players, we can look at free agents. So we only get 1 free agent signing, which is a shame because there's so many good ones, but it keeps us honest. One of these is Sylvain Babar. Absolute beast of a man. 84 ball winning, 87 kicking power, 78 defensive prowess, 84 ball winning, 90 physical contact, 88 jump. He would dominate in the area, there's no doubt about that. Definitely one to consider. Although there are a few other centre-backs who we could look to sign. I like the look of this pretty tall, imposing young Frenchman who's at Dortmund at the moment, Zagadou. Push pineapple. Sorry, that would be obvious, wouldn't it? I mean, that's almost a reason enough to sign him. What I try to do when looking through as well is, except for the free agents, to find players who are under 3 million or under 2.5 million, because we don't have much money, and I can't think that any of the really not very good players that we've got to sell are going to bring us in much revenue. So I've had to be looking around. So if you're going to play along at home and help me out looking for some players, then try and bear that in mind as well, that more than 3 million market value is probably going to be out of our price range. Again, also play at home by letting me know any linked clubs. We will still have a chance to put in some bids for people before the end of the window. So going back to this, tempted to put in a bid for Zagadou. We've also got Gabamin, who's a big 22-year-old at Mainz. He looks decent as well. Zagadou's defensive prowess is pretty poor. He's got good heading, pretty strong. Kurt, another 22-year-old. We found some good young options, actually, and I like the look of this guy. He is only 1.5 million. He's quick, 84 speed. He's got good strength on ball, 80 physical contact. He's not very good in the air. That's the only issue here. We'd have to pair him with a centre-back who can maybe do something in the air because he's not exactly huge, but interesting option. And then St. Ruff, another decent... He's a big guy, better in the air. So I would go for Babar as the free agent option, but I've got one up to look at the top, which I think you might be interested in. And we've got a left back here, Camille. He's pretty much the only good one that I found within the price range in France. Obviously, we're still waiting to hear back from the scouts. He's pretty quick. It's better than what we've got. And he's only 1.6 million. So I'm going to go in for... I'm going to have an early bid for Zagadou. Just see how that goes. He's probably going to be out of our price range, 2.5 million. I imagine they want a fair bit for a young, exciting prospect. And then Kurt, I'm going to put in a bid for as well, just to see how much he's going to cost us, because he's interesting. And then St. Ruff, I mean, he'd be a good backup option, wouldn't he? 68 overall rated. He's better than at least one of our centre-backs now. He'll be a good cheap option if we need to go for that. So now moving up into the midfield. Found us a pretty decent-looking defensive midfielder. 20-year-old from Dijon. He's a destroyer. He's already got leader, only 20 years old. He's a decent passer. We did want someone who could pass his way out of the back. Might not be our man, but he's got good ball winning. He's strong. He'd be an excellent option in there. And he's 2.2 million though. Fairly expensive. The scout's going to come back. We've also got a free agent, Fonseca. Not pulling up any trees for me really. I think Masuima probably would be the better option. So we'll put in a bid for him. We've got 3 left to go. And then into central midfield. Well, we've got some options here. We've got 27-year-old Bartholomew from Stade Brestois. Good all-round player. We've got, I couldn't turn down at least the chance of putting him in the list, Abou Diaby, Arsenal legend. And rightly so, he's got 1 injury resistance, so we probably won't go for him. But here's the one. This is the man. This could be the man to run our central midfield. It's the 21-year-old midfield dynamo, Olivier Ntcham. Was at Man City, didn't really get much playing time there. He's since moved to Celtic, which is why he's a free agent in this game. But he looks to be exactly the player that we need. He's quick, he's explosive, he's a good passer, good dribbler. I think he could be running the midfield. And as our free agent option, I think he'd be perfect. He's only 73 rated, so he fits within the ratings that were allowed. Is this a realistic signing? Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, he was, I wouldn't say he failed at Manchester City, but he didn't really do particularly well. He then went on loan to Genoa with an option to buy, which they didn't exercise. So maybe he wasn't good enough for them. He's gone to Celtic. He's playing really well there, actually. He's doing pretty well. Many likening him to Paul Pogba, possibly. Definitely got to put a bid for him early on. We need to get him sorted. And then we did come across a striker as well, mainly when I was looking for left wingers. Not a lot in terms of left wingers in our price range in France. But this guy's interesting. He's 28-year-old. He's playing at Olympiacos. Looks like we might have a chance of signing him. He's got a really nice spread of stats. He can play in central midfield, anywhere up front. He's quick, he's explosive, good passer, decent finisher. I mean, he's a definite got to put a bid in for him. So there we have it. I think that's pretty much everything we need to get out of the way. Nothing in the team info we need to look at. We do have this nice new team status page. The owner says we're going to do wonders here. Well, Corinne's already been doing wonders for a while, so don't you worry about that. But we do need to keep the squad satisfaction up this year, alongside team spirit and team strength, and we need to keep the owners happy. They're at 50% owner trust at the moment. I'm sure that will quickly go down if we start to put together a string of losses. So we're pretty close now to being able to get into the first game. So some early negotiations are back in. Let's see how we got on with the initial round of players. Oh, Mohamed Ben, the one that was quite interesting. That has not gone well. That's broken down instantly. I really like the look of him. 3.6 million euros, not very much. Not very much at all. This is going to be a tricky window, especially considering how tight things can be. Have we had any bids in for our players? I've had one in for the striker, Rajo. Oh yeah, we can get rid of him. 274,000. That's fine. Just keep it ticking over. Sneaking up on 4 million transfer budget. 671,000 euro salary budget. That's all right. So Mohamed Ben, no thanks. They've declined that. And Cham, 600,000. Or we could bring him in straight away. Lot of clubs looking for him. We don't want to mess this up. That's probably a pretty decent shout. Masawima, defensive midfielder who we do like. 2 million. Okay. See if we can do anything there in terms of negotiations. It's all changed in terms of the renegotiations. You have to work with the team and the player to get the right balance. I can get a little bit of money off. I don't feel like he's worth going for. We do have a scout to come back after all, so we'll really push them. Try and get it down a bit. Try and get it down to 1.9. That's fine. 76. That's probably not going to go through, but he's not exactly tickling too much of my fancy. Now Zagadou, 2.6. Interesting. Thought it was going to be more than that. That's only a shade over his market value for a young player who's got a lot of attention. He's got 3 teams in for him as well. So we don't want to screw this up because I think he's got real potential. We'll see if we can get a little bit of money off. So we could maybe get 100,000 off there. And then Kurt was another interesting centre-back option. 2.8 for him as well. Kurt is quick, but poor in the air. I mean, actually, Zagadou's pretty poor in the air. We're looking at some quite cultured centre-backs here. We maybe need something a little bit more industrial for Ligue 2, but still good to get these young players in if we can for a good price. I think they could improve. Not much negotiation to be had with Kurt, so it's going to be that for him. Let's keep moving. Okay, so it went through. 79,000 extra in the transfer budget. Very generous of you. Thank you, Mr. Owner. Let's take a look and see what we're working with now. Maswimmer, they will take 1.8. Okay. So Zagadou's gone down 150,000, 2.4, 2 million for Kurt. I'm still not 100% sure about either of these. But as long-term prospects that could turn into really decent players, I'm pretty certain they would be a good buy in that respect. Maswimmer, I'm not sure about. Wait to hear what the scout has in terms of defensive midfielders. I can't see anything other than signing this kid. And Cham looks excellent. Could maybe take a risk on the salary, but we don't really want to have to. Could offer him a £500,000 salary with a big old goal bonus. Yes, alright, fine. If you score the goals, we'll give you the money. That's fine, and that frees up an extra 120 odd thousand salary budget that we probably need. Alright, let's give him another 20,000. We'll make it a 100% chance of signing. We don't want to be taking the risks on this guy. Alright, let's keep going. I'd like to have Ncham signed up, all sorted before the first game of the season. So it looks like it's going to be Ncham as Diacre's first signing of this season, and that's a big one. Apologies for not putting this out to the co-authors. I think maybe it's a decision that some of you might have had opinions on, but in terms of a free transfer for a position that we need for a player of such quality at this young age, I can't see anything around it, and it just about sneaks in within the plausibility rules. So yeah, great stuff. We'll get that one signed, sealed, delivered early on. It's taken a big chunk out of our salary budget, but we knew that was going to happen, and you've got to really make that money available for a free signing of that quality. So we got there ahead of 3 other teams who were sniffing around. Very pleased with that bit of business. So good to get the first signing in, and we've had a few people sniffing around for some of our players as well, which is good. We need to free up some budget. Oh, look at that. It's the Domino's League. Lovely little title screen there. That's nice. It's good to be playing in a fully licensed league. To start off with, you get a few of the flashy bits like that. New signing is in. Let's see where he slots into the side. Well, it's pretty obvious. I mean, this spot here has got Ncham's name written all over it. He slots in there easily. We'll bring Guerbert back into the substitute bench. And that's fine. And he's going to play there. I think that's a lovely little player. Just the right one there. He can drive forward. He can dribble. He can also pass as well to release some of our players out on the flanks. Lovely stuff. First bit of business has gone very nicely. Right then, let's get into the first game. Oh, exciting. Diacre is going to want to start well. The bosses are after promotion this season, and although, you know, she's been doing well and pushed for promotion in previous seasons, obviously with the new investment that they're putting in, signing blue players like Ncham, they're going to want to see results pretty soon. So Ndai on a downward arrow. Do we have any options? We can play Dougemont. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't really like playing there very much. That's not ideal. We're at Team Spirit 44. I mean, that's going to make things very hard in these early days. I think we found last year that until that Team Spirit gets up above at least 60, then you will struggle. So I expect this to be a difficult game against Stade de Reims. Oh, they've got some pretty decent players. A lot of 70s going on there. Decent looking striker in that 2 up top. Yeah, let's see how we get on. That's one thing I'm not going to know is what the other teams are like. We've got some great strips for Clermont this season. Loving this one. The first strip is nice. Second home strip as well. Very, very pretty. Like the collar, like the stripes. But for me, it's this one. The pure white kit. That's beautiful. Let's get my hands on one of them. So although Diacre is being shown in this Master League as a new manager, we all know she's been here for a while. This is her 5th season now in charge, 4th season. Not quite sure. But as we said, we've got something to prove now. She's been putting in good performances, finishing in sort of 7th, that sort of area in the league. Now is the time for us to push on. Investment has come in. We've got Olivier Ncham, the new signing, straight into the midfield. He's going to want to impress. And yeah, we want to impress the home crowd. The Clermont faithful will be looking for a good start to the season, as will I. Come on then. Ncham into Dory. Again, he gets the lay on. That's what we want to see from him. And that's good interplay in the centre to find Olivier Ncham. Once again, it's down this left-hand side into Dougemont. Takes it wide. Back inside to Ncham. He's found a bit of space here. He's going to work the interplay here with Loppy. Not a good ball back into him. Missed that one. Space out on the right. What is the left-back doing? I suppose he was involved in play. Fontaine comes across. Great step back inside there. Into the box. Shot comes in. Right back Fojo hits it out. And yeah, well, that's not the defensive line, the deep defensive line we were looking for. I guess the left back was involved in some play and didn't quite get back in time. Out for the first corner of the game. Diego puts it in. Oh, off the bar. Get it away. Oh, it's straight up. Honorat will try to push it away. And Fojo will get it out for a throw. But that was scramble on scramble in the box. Oh, bad throw there. And now Dory can release Honorat. He sees the run. Rougemont through the centre. He gets away from his man. He'll hit this one. Oh, it got a deflection off the defender. It was looping into the goal. It's a quick breakaway there. That's why we need a bit of a faster player out on the left. Although he did well to get ahead of the man. Got the shot in. Nearly looped over the keeper and in. We struggled from the last set piece. Let's see how we get on with this one. It's Diego to whip this one in. Oh, great take from the centre-back. Oh, jam off the line. No, he's put it into his own net. And is that an own goal? Is that going to go down? No, it goes down. There's a goal for the away side. We're just struggling to get anything away there. Oh, and Jam really did put that back into his own net. It will go down as a goal because it was on target. But not a great start here for Clermont, and that was poor. Loppy wins it. He'll go wide, looking for Honorat. It's a great ball out. He's got Diego with him. Cuts back in. Will put a ball in with his left foot. Tries to get it back across into Dory. Hits it with the left. What a save that was. Cham wins it back well. And now he looks to drive forward through the centre. Olivier and Cham potentially at fault for the first goal. Edge of the box now. Looks to work a shooting chance. Oh, it's off the post. Oh, really well won back there. And Laporte will find the ball into Dory. Ball onto Honorat is there. He'll hit this one first time. Flashes it wide. Frank. Frankly, not accurate enough. And that's half time here in Clermont, and not a great start to the season. It's been 2 defensive howlers. It looked like set pieces we really struggled from. You can see that we do need that centre-back. Maybe the 2 that we're looking at aren't really the ones we need. We need a towering, imposing centre-back who can be getting those balls out, not headering them back up into the air. And that was what caused the goal. Other than that, I think we've had the better of the play. Great shot from Cham hitting the post. I still feel there's a goal in this, but not the best start so far. Ball on back by Cham, and then he'll look to drive forward. Lays it inside to Douline. He'll take it on. Oh, too much though from the defensive midfielder. Can get the pass away when needed. And Cham, poor tackle, but they still come forward now. That's poor defending. Get it. No! That was awful. That was really poor. Just fell apart and Cham's tackle missed. And then look at this defender rushing out. Totally does him there. With a little drop of the shoulder. And then the left back is sleeping. And the number 12 is through to put them up by 2 here. Port goes long into Dory. Gets the header down. Doesn't find him Cham. So we're aiming for Cham. Good play there. Finds Dougemont. Oh, lovely link up there. Now Germany, can he find the right ball into Dory? Too close to Carasso. Good build up there though. Showing some better signs. Need to get old Frank involved because he's the danger man. Loppy spreads it wide into Dougemont. He's had a difficult game. Playing out of position. That's nice though. Reverse ball into Dory. He'll get there. Can he put the ball in? No, he can't. It's well blocked. Still Dory now. Oh, God. Loppy inside to Dory. That's nice. It's for the 1-2 with Honorat. He will hit this one. Curls it. Ferrabori Dory off the mark. Ferrabori Dory. I can't even say his name. It's difficult, but that's good interplay. 83rd minute. Could be too late here for Clermont. But showing a bit more in their second half. That's a good ball in. He turns. Shows good strength. Back in. And it's a good finish there from the big number 3. And we're off the mark for the season. Thank God for that at least. In Cham now, edge of the box. He's going to look to turn. Slip in Graber, the substitute. He'll hit with the left. Oh, it could have fallen to Dory there. Just didn't. Those are the fine margins in which games are won and lost. Putting the pressure on here still. Douline, good ball into the middle. He lays it off to Cham. He's going to look to poke it back into Dory. Oh, he nearly, so nearly levelled things up here. Late in the game. Graber into Cham. Back to Graber. He's going to look to slip it into Dory again. Is that off the defender? I can't believe it. Dory cannot believe that he's not managed to seal a point here in the dying embers of this game. It's great interplay edge of the box. The substitute Graber puts the ball in. I think it was Dory who got the final touch. Oh, 90 minutes up. Only 50 seconds left in this game. That was our last chance. Graber, great header though. No, come on. Not the best start. Not the best start at all. To lose at home in the first game of the season. Not what anyone wants. But I think we showed a pretty good account of ourselves, especially in the second half, to come back into that one and push them right to the end. It was a defensive error for the first goal. There was no excuse for that. No excuse got at all. The second one, it was a defensive error as well, actually. The centre-back steamed out. Centre-backs are looking to be the issue here. Up front, we look fine. We look fine. I think that's not an area we need to improve so much. And Cham looked good. He had a good debut. Was unlucky not to score. And Doré, well, he looks like he's going to be deadly in front of goal as well. So, not the best start. At least we scored though, which sees us mid-table. Lovely. Right, so the scouts are back. This is going to be the last thing in this episode. Only one game for us today. Normally it'll be 3 games we'll be playing an episode this year. One more than normal. Let's take a look and see if we've got anything interesting in the scouts. 3 pretty poor looking defenders. We are looking within the budget, which is the problem, because we didn't have a very big budget when we sent them out. And we're looking for a young player as well. He actually looks alright though. Can play at centre-back, can play at left-back. Decent spread of stats. Better than what we've got at least. So Saavedra, maybe one to consider. Defensive midfielder, can't find anyone. Okay, interesting. And then a winger. Ooh, hello. What's this? Eisnaldo. Oh, he's a free agent. No, we don't have any space for any free agents. That's annoying. Oh, and Wellington. This guy. This guy's got loan signing written all over him. Tricky, tiny little player. Quick. Yeah, that's a loan signing if ever I've seen one. How much does he cost? 6 million. Yeah, it's a loan signing. So there we go. Nothing in terms of defensive midfielder. I think we'll quickly change that up to an overall rating. Might get something back. Don't know about that. Things to consider. We've got that defensive midfielder. We've got Masuema. These 2 centre backs probably not going to be the ones that we need. Take another look. Were any of these particularly a little bit more imposing? We need someone who's good in the air. Got good jump, good strength. Gamamin would be better. We'll put a bit in for him as well. Just quickly move on. See if we can get any negotiations just to look at before we leave. So 3 days later, we've had quite a few bids in for some of our players, so we can take a look at them. I mean, yeah, we can probably sell all of these, and that will probably give us a combined total of about 1.2 million, maybe 1.5 million. They're scraps, really, aren't they? Yeah, 1 million transfer fee, loan signing for Wellington Nem. That looks to be an excellent signing. He's quick, he's explosive, he's got good strength on the ball. He's tiny, absolutely tiny. He can go on an amazing run, play anywhere up front. That's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to playing with him, and he's left-footed as well. Perfect. Gbamin didn't go through, though. That's a shame. So in the next episode, we can probably tie up Wellington Nem, and then we'll go looking for another centre-back. So go and have a look through the advanced search. You know what to look for. French players, 74 rated or below, probably less than 3 million. We need an imposing centre-back, or 2 by the looks of it, after that performance. So there we have it. First episode in the bag. It was a good one, disappointing performance, but there were signs, positive signs that I think we can build on. I'll see you in a bit.